Hello everybody, Randy Patrick here. Welcome to Housing Bubble 2.0 News of the Week, or as I like to call it, another episode of As the Housing Market Turns. Today is Friday, the 27th of September. Month's almost over. Time is moving by real quick. Time to catch up on the news of the week here. So I guess the number one and number two points of news I think that were material were new home sales and pending home sales. And I want to report on those. And I want to clarify something up front right off the bat. I'm not just about doom and gloom. I'm going to talk about things when things look good. And in this capacity, we did see some nice information in the housing market that's helped a lot of people out, which is great here. But I want to caution everybody that when you read some of the headlines, housing market's not rebounding because of 1 or 2 months a small uptick in sales or values or things like that. So we have to put things into perspective, all right? So basically, NAR, which is National Association of Realtors, every month they produce their pending home sales index. And apparently the pending home sales, and pending homes are homes that are under contract, that went under contract in the month of August, which reflect future sales in upcoming months. So pending home sales grew 1.6% in August, and that was 1.6%, I think, from the July number. The year-over-year contract signings jumped 2.5%. So there you go. So a little bit of an uptick in August, and of course, Lawrence Yun, our chief economist, is pretty much saying the fact that it was our lower interest rates that provided the ability for more people to jump into contracts and place offers on more houses, etc. Because prices wouldn't be lower, but your payments are lower. And again, we're buying payments, we're not buying purchase price at this point in time. So they were encouraged by seeing a little bit of an uptick, which is great. When you actually take a look at it, though, the Northeast rose 1.4% as far as the index is concerned. The Midwest rose just 0.6%, and the South increased 1.4%, and the West index grew 3.1%. So the West actually grew the most as far as pending home sales. And again, Lawrence Yun noted that historically low interest rates will affect economic growth, especially home buying on a going forward basis, which we get that. So again, pending homes up a little bit. When I go back to year over year, 2.5%. It wasn't 5%, wasn't 10% or 7.5%. It was only 2.5%. And we had some very historically, as they call it here, historically low interest rates for mortgages, so that helps bring on some buyers, which is a good thing. People need to live, people need to move, people need to buy homes, and you've got to. Sometimes you can't hold out for the great future price decreases we're hoping for and things like that. You got to move. So at least if rates are down, they're getting some relief on their housing expenses all in. So again, small uptick in the pendings. Now, new home sales surged in August, and again, it says new home sales surged in August as rates tumbled. And after July's collapse, because July was not a very good month with respect to new home sales, August sales were expected to rebound, but they actually had their biggest jump in 2 years. Surprise to the upside, rising 7.1% month over month against expectations of only a 3.8% rebound. So I guess the difference, though, is that now when these new home sales come out, there's always some drag and tag along information. I guess July's drop was 12.8%, but it was revised to only 8.6% drop. So there you go. So things, there's a little bit of balancing out here. Purchases of new homes increased in the South and the West. The supply of homes at the current sales rate dropped to 5.5 months from 5.9 months in July. So the new home sales supply has been chipping away every month. And the reason it's doing that because builders are not building as much of them. They don't have as much in inventory, and they're trying to move what they have before they end up permitting and going for building new stuff and spec homes and things like that. However, I want to be very clear here. The report showed more expensive homes, those priced over $400,000, represented a larger share of the unadjusted sales in August. So basically, what we're seeing here is, we're not seeing affordable homes or where homes most people need them to be priced at, being built and jumping, in volume with builders. We're seeing a lot of the higher end stuff being taken off the marketplace here, which is great for builders, still great for home buyers, but realize that, we're still having the affordable housing issues on all levels, whether they're existing homes or they're new home sales. Median sales price increased 2.2% from a year earlier to $328,400. Now, of course, the comment is this is, of course, the data is just before rates started to go a little bit higher the past little bit and mortgage applications tumbled. So there you go. So we'll figure out what happened. But obviously, having some lower rates over the month of August certainly helped new home sales move forward, which is cool. Now, tagging along with that concept here, Adam Data Solutions the other day released their Q3 2019 U.S. home affordability report. So basically, they take a look at median house price in a lot of the metros across the country, and they take a look at median wage earnings, and they see what's affordable and what isn't. So rising home prices outpace wages in 76% of U.S. housing markets. Home price is less affordable than historic average in 61% of local markets. So again, I want to say here that we've got an increase in the pending sales, which means future sales and closings. Now that's good for volume. For pending home sales, we don't know what the price points are. So if people drop their prices, and with lower rates, that may make it more attractive to home buyers to jump in. And again, new home sales, jumped up a little bit as well too. But we'll see how. Again, still doesn't mean affordability has gotten any better. So essentially, as I said here, 76% of U.S. housing markets are not affordable. Largest populated counties where a median priced home in the third quarter was not affordable for the average wage earners included Los Angeles County, Cook County, Illinois, Maricopa County, Phoenix, San Diego County, California, and Orange County, California. So there you go. Those same counties tend to be always on the list. They were in the top 5 in the previous quarter as well, too. So there you go. Buying a home continues to be a rough road to navigate for the average wage earner in the United States. Prices are going up substantially faster than earnings in 2019 without any immediate end in sight, which continues to make home ownership difficult or impossible for the majority of single-income households and even for many families with 2 incomes, according to Adam Data Solutions here. So 61% of markets are less affordable than their historic averages. So again, we're not talking about 20%, 30%. We're talking about more than half the country, okay? Half to 2/3 to 3/4, really, it's unaffordable for most people, which is difficult. And when you take a look at this, this is still part of the problem here. So as home prices still kind of plateau and sort of increase in various locations, people are moving up in price point. Lower interest rates just allows them to buy up a little bit higher and continue keeping those prices at high levels. The majority of people, 76 percent of the people can't afford the median price point. So prices have to come down for this market to move. So that's why I truly believe things will change in the future. So I wouldn't fret that's out there. And to support, to support what we're saying here, again, media and people will spin the pending home sales, pending contracts, and the new home sales as I already seen it out there, rebounds and the home buying market's heating up again. Well, to me that's not huge increases or anything to write home about. Yeah, we have a little bit of an increase, but again, it's not like it's going to stay there. As a matter of fact, a lot of people are still looking at 2020 as being a negative value decrease or decline for housing. But just some of the stuff I'm reading here, our thinking is when the next crash is. A report from the San Francisco Chronicle in California, Bay Area home prices slumped for a 6th straight month in August. According to CoreLogic, prices year over year have now been flat or falling for 6 consecutive months. 4 Bay Area counties posted year over year price drops in August, the largest being Santa Clara's 8% decline. So there you go. So we're seeing now that various metros are starting to report the fact that they're not increasing anymore, that they've plateaued and in fact are decreasing. In Orange County, according to the Orange County Register, a lot of agents gathered at the California Association of Realtors conference in LA, saying many potential clients are holding back because they don't want to buy at the peak of the market. Many would-be home buyers are worried that the current economic cycle has gone on too long. Aren't we at the point where the market changes? It's gone past the 7 to 10 year point. So our thinking is, when's the next crash? Everyone's waiting for it to drop. So, then this is what buyers are saying out there. So we're not alone in our thoughts. It's not a few of us that are going, prices are going to drop. The expectation for most people is that, yes, we've gone through this 7 to 10 year point of growth and things have recovered or have been controlled and have been managed. So we have recovered to a point. Prices are up, lower interest rates are now, we're being encouraged to buy. But again, we're not still seeing the true volume of buyers coming on to grab up these homes. So people's mindsets are they're waiting for the next crash or waiting for these discounts to happen. That's in California. Here's another report. We're hearing that offers owners did not take 6 months ago. They're going to try to get those offers today. Excuse me, a report from the Boston Globe in Massachusetts. The state's housing market wrapped up the summer the way it started, tight and expensive, but there are signs in some parts of the market that things may be topping out. We are starting to see more buyers act with less urgency, exercise more caution before making an offer to purchase, said the Greater Boston Association of Realtors president. All right. As well, you hear in Dallas, residential building starts in North Texas fell by almost 40% in August from a year ago and are down 18% for the first 8 months of 2019. So basically, the drop in residential construction activity confirms reports of a slowdown in both single-family home building and apartment starts for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So again, when you have lower construction, typically means inventory is increasing in other parts of the area, which means there's more selection, which means home buyers are going to go, or home builders are going to go, okay, we're not going to build as much if we're not getting the buyers coming to our door. We're not going to have as many spec homes. So all these things are related, but I just wanted to point out that, again, going to the whole housing markets rebounding, yes, we've had, as I said before, we had some nice little upticks there. A lot more locations are showing slowdowns, etc. That's what I'm trying to point out today. California's housing market probably will slow in 2020, said the realtors. According to CAR, which is California Association of Realtors, basically buyers have more purchasing power in years past, but they may be reluctant to get off the sidelines because of economic and market uncertainties, and affordability crunch will cut into demand in some of the regions. So yes, California's housing market will be challenged by changing migration patterns as buyers search for more affordable housing markets, particularly by new first-time buyers who are the hardest hit moving out of state. So basically, we're seeing population growth changing, people leaving the state, and we lose the workers we need the most as service and construction workers and teachers. So those groups of people economically cannot afford the higher prices in California. So what do? You move and find jobs someplace else where homes are more affordable, so you have a better quality of life. So California already expects, this is their Association of Realtors, so they certainly, they're saying the median home price will probably only rise about 2.5% next year. So they're still predicting a rise, but it's certainly, it's slowed down from a gain of over 4% from the previous projections, and who knows. Now, they're already stating the fact that they see changes of buying habits, migration, things like that. So there you go. Miami. So, one of the things that always happens, has happened in the past housing crisis, was the Miami condo market. And there's a lot of articles about this. A lot of it's, just reports on different buildings and things like that. But the Miami condo market, is one of those sort of, boom or bust scenarios. And during the last housing crisis, as everything, picks up in pace and volumes grow and prices go up, developers come into the fray and they build their condo developments and off they go, and then they get caught and they have to sell out or rent inventory. People who buy there who wanted to flip get caught. People who bought hoping to appreciate are now looking, living beside renters. So, it's not necessarily a great environment, but according to a couple reports here, Miami real estate is about to collapse. Basically, it's the overbuilding of condos in the downtown core. I'm not going to get too much into it, but basically, a lot of it goes back to, overseas or foreign buyers. They're getting hit by lack of overseas buying. A lot of rich South Americans aren't coming. A lot of Russians aren't coming. A lot of people from Europe aren't bringing the money over because they look at, again, it's all back to the economy. They perceive that the U.S. is unstable economic environment right now, trade wars, things like that. So, that's the situation. They're not going to invest in, expensive high-rise condos. And if you start taking a look at all the buildings that they've put up down there. There's quite a few of them, and that they're going to sit there and they're going to who knows what's going to happen, but they're not getting purchased, they're not getting filled up, and that also impacts buyers, because I know in some situations lending on condo, like if you wanted to buy a condominium, part of the deal when you go for financing is that traditional lenders are looking to see the occupancy or the sold rate of the condo development. They don't want to see below 50% or even 60 or 75%. It's not filled yet, and we're going to loan you on a premium product here, and take a loss. Our future loss if we're going to be underwater. So that affects the condo purchases all around here. But Miami, for me, that's a big trigger, just like the last housing crisis, that this is happening all over again in this neck of the woods. All right. Next article here. Refi boom crashes to end on modest rate rise. So after a very modest 10 basis points rise in the 30-year mortgage rates over the last few weeks, it's crushed the housing market's refinance boom and hit the new home applications as well too. So again, we saw the August uptick, but it's so funny when things change. Everybody slows down again. So overall mortgage applications tumbled 10.1% last week, the most since the Christmas holidays of 2016, and the biggest drop for this time of year in the last 10 years. The drop was led by a 15.2% plunge in refinance applications, with new purchase applications also down 3.3%. So basically, it's interesting to note, they note that that the 10 basis points increase in rates has killed the entire refinance boom, and which should make housing market enthusiasts more than a little worried, as the marginal mortgage applicant is this sensitive to rates these days. So there you go. So that's kind of it for the interesting news today. So my point, as you can see, is the fact that good news versus bad news. Who do you believe? What's the spin on it? What's going to happen in the future? So, as I mentioned many times through many past videos, the expectations were and was and is, and I've been bullish on that. The fact that we were going to see some forms of increase in activity through July and August, and we've seen that. Now, obviously, having some lower rates has spurred some of the pending sales, but we'll see how prices fall out over the fall and into the wintertime. And again, foreclosures are still, chipping away at a good pace. Overall foreclosure activity is down, and what I mean by that is homes going to, that includes homes going to sale and, the entire foreclosure activity. But we know in many locations, foreclosure filings are up significantly for 40 to 50% of metro locations. They're having year-over-year increases. So, this is where the dichotomy is the marketplace. Some metros are doing well. Some metros are receiving migration from higher price locations, which are propping up their values and their activity. We're seeing a shift in demographic across the board. We're seeing, price points still being out of reach for most people, and we're not seeing enough activity in the affordable housing market, which really is still the main issue. So in the end, there's only so many people that can afford prices where they're at today, so the market will eventually dwindle and whittle away until price points come down where the masses can essentially afford property. That's how I see it. Again, small increases do not make for a rebound, or it does not save the marketplace whatsoever. And markets are not being overbuilt now, so there's always going to be competition for homes. And until we see some reduction in prices, I still think things will slowly eke down. But we're still going to see some of the locations still posting year-over-year increases. But as we've seen via the trends with Case-Shiller and other data sources, the increase in value, the appreciation is decelerating every month. So we're getting to that plateau of actually having zero. So I expect in a few months we'll be seeing more cross the line from zero, different locations, and go negative. So that's the scoop on that. Getting back to the affordable housing opportunity, we've talked about this many times before. Basically off-market homes are the way to go. The short sale market, which that's what I like to do and involved in pretty heavily, that really only represents less than 1% of all the market sales across the board, and that is an untapped inventory niche, and that's where the deals are if people choose to go down that path. But because they're not coming to the surface, people don't know they're available, and people are ignoring that marketplace. So if you'd like more information on that, please hit me up, because I can show you what I'm doing and get you involved in figuring out learning short sales and getting involved in that marketplace. So that's the scoop for today, guys. Hope you had a good week. Thank you for the views. Thank you for the likes and comments. I'll do my best to get back to people this weekend. It's been very busy. I can personally say, as I said before, I'm seeing an increase in my activity with respect to deal potentials, what I'm trying to do to market for properties, getting these people under contract, trying to hit that short sale marketplace. Again, it's an untapped inventory, and if you want some good deals, they can be found, but you just have to look a little harder than the average person for them. So having said that, reach out to me if you'd like some help. Thank you once again, and if you're not a subscriber and like what you hear, please help my channel grow and click that subscribe button. I really appreciate that, and we'll look forward to speaking with you early next week. Thank you.